Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Phoenix, and we are here with a review of the Denorios Class Bajoran Interceptor. This is a T6 vessel, and this is the ship that you get with the 8th anniversary. And starting the review, we're going to examine the bridge first. Something I normally don't do, but this is something I thought I could include. So the bridge here is a pretty small bridge compared to some of the other ones. Maybe a little bit bigger than, say, the Belfast one. However, the one thing that is that I may have to complain about is kind of the interior design of this vessel. It's mostly light gray, dark gray, with maybe some black, and then you have the blue lighting and then the yellow lighting on these two consoles here. That's pretty much it. The chairs themselves don't look all that comfortable either. But you know, it's a Bajoran ship, so maybe they like that sort of thing. You have a nice big view screen, which looks like a huge TV. I'm not sure if that's how they plan to do it or what, but certainly that's exactly what it looks like. It's just a giant TV and not something that was sort of kind of integrated into the hull like it possibly should have been. But anyways, continuing on here, there's a number of console stations in the front. There's 4 in the front here. There's these 2 little mini consoles here. I don't know exactly what they would be used for. They have what appears to be a door, but unfortunately you can't exit this bridge. This is the only place you're able to search. You can get like your mail or the exchange here and ships and stuff like that, and your bank. Behind the captain's chair, you have 2 consoles. One would obviously be tactical. I'm not sure what the other one would be. And then along the back, you have 1 console here, another console there, and then you have this big one here. So this could be, say, like a science or engineering area that may need to be looked at. Now, the pattern on the floor is not a bad one. I mean, I wouldn't mind it if it was the pattern here and then something else here, and then maybe continue the pattern, on the lower ends here. The bridge I'm not really digging, to be honest, but it is an interceptor, so I understand the size of the bridge itself. But I would have liked to see more of the ship internals as to decks and stuff like that. And I understand it takes a lot of time and effort to do these sorts of things. So, but like I said, it would be nice to have a different change of colors and patterns, and then obviously the decks or something like that. That would have been nice, but yeah, it is what it is, and we're going to continue on. Looking at the customization options here, you can see that they are pretty sparse, which is a little disheartening, to be honest. So you have your Denorios template, which is the only template you get. The interior is the only bridge that you get, which I've already showed. For windows, you only get the 1 type. You don't get any others. And then for material, this is where you get some customization options. There's type 1 and then type 2. So the pale brown or beige color, and then sort of like the light gray texture is what you get. And then you get your choice of any colors that you wish. And for style, there is no customizations options whatsoever, which like it would have been nice if they included some options. I think that would have been really, really cool. Change like say the nose and then the hull and then the wings. I think that would have been pretty awesome, but who knows. And then we have the patterns, which you have the normal run-of-the-mill patterns. The only ones that really seem to change, I think, are the Andromeda and Gemini ones, really. No other patterns really show up, especially on the bottom. It seems like those ones are almost copy and paste on everything. But that's pretty much it for customization options. I would love to. I know this is an anniversary ship, and I know it's a free ship for everyone, as long as you grind out for the vouchers. But I would still like to see some customization options for us players, just to, you know, give it that extra little bit of flair. Examining the design of the ship, you can tell the ship was designed or modeled pretty much after a, I would say, a fighter jet-S type ship, but meant for space. As you can see here, you have like the nice rounded nose here. You have the glass here and here, which is separated by a beam here. You would think that this would be like almost like a two-man cockpit, but this is an actual starship with a number of crew on it. So the size variance would probably between maybe around a Defiant or the Pilot Escort. So maybe around that size of how this ship would be. So you have the nose here, and then you have the hull here. I'm not entirely sure where the bridge would be located on this vessel. I would hazard to guess that even though the windows here would suggest that would be the bridge, looking at the bridge, this is not where it would be. So it may be maybe up in this area here, maybe where this red light is. I'm not going to use demo record just because I want to try things differently and whatnot. But what you got here is something that's interesting. This ship does not have a deflector dish whatsoever. So possibly maybe these might be sensor arrays, or part of the, maybe this here might be the deflector, these little pieces here. That could be considered a deflector, or maybe all these little pieces here are considered the deflector dish or something. And we're not entirely sure, because we don't get manuals with these or anything like that. So it's interesting here. And then we have I don't know. Then we have these blue things here, which I'm not sure if those are part of the warp drive or what. It's very hard to tell with this ship because it's not a standard Federation type ship. So this is what I actually enjoy is trying to figure things out here. But then you have like these wings here, which I'm just gonna move the ship. I have to move the ship in weird angles because I'm in the Bajor sector and the lighting here is not great, not like it is in the Sol system. So here you have wings here, and you know, nice big wings here. You get this curve sort of backwards, and then it curves downward as well. A nice little degree there. So that's where I get this whole fighter jet. It's almost like a stealth fighter type body with, you know, like the large wings of, say, maybe 474 or the 747 or whatever Boeing ship or airplanes. Here, I'm just going to turn the ship around here so we can look at the aft of it. So then we got the blue things here. Now, I don't know if those are the warp core or if those are the impulse engines. Again, something we're not sure. It would make sense that the blue would be impulse engines, you know, because it's slightly covered with this shroud here. And then you have the two larger ones, which should be considered the warp core, because usually the warp core is a lot bigger than the impulse engines. At the back here, it looks like there's a viewing, or not a viewing, a port, so that when it docks with, say, DS9, it will go in reverse and dock, and people get in and off that way. And then looking at the underside again, more of the rear here, you have these orange things. Now, I don't know what those would be. Maybe they're tiny little warp core hatches or something like that. I don't know for sure. Yeah, and then you got these things now. Like I said, these could be part of the deflector. They could be part of sensors. I'm not entirely sure, but it would be nice to guess. Then you have this thing here, which would look like maybe thrusters on the bottom, and you got maybe, say, vents for cooling here. These little circles on either side, and then at the back on top of the wings here. Just move this thing slightly here. Just move like that. Yeah, so you kind of like maybe you got vents. Maybe these are like solar panels or something like that. Maybe some of the parts of the ship is powered by, solar energy. Who knows? And then you have the vents on the top that correspond. Oh no, they're in a different location. So, yeah, or maybe they are air thrusters or something like that. They pump out gas and that helps thrust the ship around. So that's pretty much it. It's a small little ship, and it's a fun little ship to fly in. Although it's not as great as, say, maybe the pilot escort. Yeah. All right. So for the ship mastery, for level 1 you get +5 accuracy rating. For level 2 you get +5 defense. Level 3 is +10% kinetic and energy damage. And then for level 4 you get +2.5% critical chance. And then for the level 5, which is the starship trait, you get harrying maneuvers. What it does is once every per 20 seconds for 6 seconds you get +50 accuracy rating, +10% weapon armor penetration, and 10% weapon shield penetration. And once per second you get a 20% chance of one random subsystem going offline for 5 seconds. I don't believe that it stacks every second if that chance happens, just because that might be too much. For my current loadout, now understand that this character is a work in progress, so he's not going to have the top of everything. So what I have here is a dual heavy cannon and turret build with 4 fleet advanced dual heavy cannons with the critical damage and damage ×3 proc, or mods I should say. And then I have the wide arc phaser dual heavy cannon with accuracy ×2 and critical hit mods. I have the full Bajoran set, and because this is the Bajoran vessel, I figured I would have the set on it and give it a whirl. So what it does is, when you have at least 2 pieces of the item, is the 17.8% phaser damage or disruptor damage and plasma damage. So that's the reason why I went with a phaser build on this character, or on this ship, is because it is a phaser, more geared towards phaser builds. For 3 sets, you get energy siphoning field, which sets the warp core to passive. Range increases from 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers. Retaliatory coronal ejection. This is the shield, so range increases from 2.5 kilometers to 5 kilometers. So that's when your shields go down and the ship starts spewing all this stuff. If your forward shields goes down, it starts spewing things in the front. If all your shields go down, then it starts spewing everything everywhere. And then for the 4 set, the manipulative energy siphon field. So energy siphon now additionally reduces foe turn rate by 33% and lowers resistance by 15%, while providing you with those bonuses. So you get an increase, 33% increase in turn rate and 15% increase in resistance. So that's not too bad. And then again, for the aft weapons, I have 2 phaser turrets with the critical damage and damage ×3 proc. The Bajoran Interceptor comes with this experimental weapon. It's the Voice of the Prophets. I do believe you can change it onto other vessels, but But anyways, what it does is it does to the primary target 6,502.5 physical damage, to 3 additional foes within 2 kilometers of the primary target, 3,251.2 physical damage, and then to self, obviously minus 10 weapon power because it uses weapon power to fire. And then every non-critical hit with the weapon increases critical hit chance by 1.5%. Attack stacks up to 10 times all the stacks removed on a successful critical hit. If my math is correct, if you reach 10 times, that goes from 1.5% to say 20%, if my math is correct. So that's a decent critical hit chance percentage there. For devices, subspace fuel modulator and engine battery, engineering console, I have 2 neutronium alloys and an RCS accelerator. For tactical consoles, I had the vulnerability locators, 2 phasers, and 2 cannons. And then for science consoles, I have the universal point defense system from, I believe, the one of the heavy tactical escorts? I'm not entirely sure. The Nakura particle converter, the assimilated module, and then the ship itself comes with the D.O.M.I.N.O console. And so we're just going to open that up, and what it does 15% phaser damage and plus 20% accuracy. And so what it does is for 10 seconds you get 25% firing cycle haze for energy weapons, plus 25% bonus to all damage, plus 25% recharge speed for bridge officer abilities, 100% recharge speed for torpedo weapons. So this one might be beneficial to have if you have a torpedo boat. If you defeat a foe, you get plus 2 seconds durations to all effects, and it may only occur 10 times. So there you go. This is what I have for my skills, something I probably should be looking at redoing. Moving on, this is the current traits I have. So here is the hurrying maneuvers, and exact same stats that I gave earlier. And then for stations, so my commander tactical, I have tactical team 1, attack pattern beta 1, cannon rapid fire 2, and attack pattern omega 3. For my lieutenant commander tactical / pilot, I have pilot team 1, reinforcement squadron 1, and emergency weapons reroute reserves to weapons 1. And then for my lieutenant commander science, I have tachyon beam 1, scramble sensors 1, and gravity well 1. For my universal lieutenant / pilot, I have emergency power weapons 1 and auxiliary power to structural integrity field. As you can tell, that is an engineering officer there. And then for my ensign engineering officer, I just have emergency power to shields 1. Alright, here we go. So right off the bat, I'm going to just use the D.O.M.I.N.O. We're a little late getting into the party here, but it's okay. We'll make up for it. Now, one thing that I would like to see on this ship was the pilot maneuvering ability. I think that would have really helped this ship. Of course, we are getting smashed here. Because again, like I said, I think that would really help this ship. Since it's being a interceptor and whatnot, I think this would have been really helpful. don't be firing at that anymore. I don't care. I'm not here about DPS today. I'm here to kill things. Take down that generator. Now let's take out the transformer. So the ability that we get here with your shields here is kind of interesting. So if your shields go down, it fires those pulses. And the interesting thing is if it goes down, like if one facing shield goes down, then it'll start firing that side and not and not like the others. Unless all your shields go down all at once, then it'll start firing a whole bunch everywhere. I'm not sure where, but whatever. It's okay. I need to pop that because I don't want it going after me. The gate is not friendly to squishy escorts like this. I forgot to use these guys. Well, whatever. Use them now. But like I said, yeah, the pilot maneuvering ability would have been awesome to have on this thing. Solar flare gun. That's an interesting accolade. Should look into that one. But yeah. So there we go. Well, what can I say about the Bajoran Interceptor? Well, for a T6 anniversary ship, I don't think it's too bad. Now, the only things that I really can gripe about, and I believe I would be considered being nitpicky, is the customization options, the pilot maneuvering ability on that ship. But everything else, I think this ship is not too bad. I think the design is pretty nice and simple. It's very, very sleek. It looks like a space fighter jet, something that I'm not opposed to. But yeah, it does fairly well in battle and whatnot. So I don't think it's a terrible ship. So if you don't have this ship, what are you waiting for? Go get it. It's a free ship. Enjoy it. Even if you're not into tactical or into escorts, you know what? It's still a fun ship to fly. And even though there is no pilot maneuvering, it's still fairly quick and nimble. It still has the ability to fly around a lot of the other bulkier ships, the science ships and the cruisers. But you know what? It's still fun to have, and I think you should give it a try. If you can get it, get it. If you can't, well, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get it either through the low-buy store or even through the fleet store at one point or another. Well, that is it for today's video, and as always, this is a start of a dialogue. Do you have this ship? If not, will you get it? What do you think of the Bajoran set? And should we still bomb Bajor? Let me know your answers and any questions you have down in the comment section below, and let's start a conversation. And if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you are not a member of this community, press subscribe. I make content on Star Trek Online and other sci-fi related videos, commentaries, and reviews just like this one once a week. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos. I will link the Patreon page in the top pinned comment below if you want to support this channel further. Every little bit helps, and it means so much to me if you could help. I will also link my Twitter and Facebook pages down in the pinned comments as well. Thank you for watching, live long, and prosper.